Call this meeting order. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Okay, agenda. We have minutes from a work session on March 5th, regular meeting March 19th, work session 9th. President's remarks, General Manager's report, Recreation and Parks Committee report, Terry Moore, public comment. Old business, motion to extend 3 terms for 3 members of the Communications Committee, Marty Clark. New business, closed meeting report, Terry Moore. CPI actions, Bob Thompson. Appointments, we got 4, which is
5.
what's the
Larry
Lawrence Morris.
was just in our desk. But, yeah. For tennis.
Media questions and adjournment, except for the addition of Lawrence Morris from the tennis, which I just signed as a liaison. Any other changes to the agenda? There being none, we will move on. March 5th, working session. The adjustments or changes or corrections to the
under the Beacon Comprehensive Plan,
Yes.
said Phil suggested the BFAC suggested we look at UMES, and I just simply said University of Maryland. I don't know whether it's UMES, College Park. I was just repeating what the committee said about University of Maryland.
Okay, so it should be UM system?
Yeah.
UM system, okay. Any other changes? Adjustments? Motion to accept?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? As adjusted. March 19th. Board meeting. Regular meeting. Adjustments or changes?
Motion to accept.
Second? Second. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain, I wasn't there.
Okay. 6-0-1 on that. In work session, April 9th. No, April 9th. Changes or adjustments to that. Motion.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. President's remarks. Well, here we go with the geese again. Somehow, someone apparently last week decided to go on a Facebook page somewhere and reignite and re-announce that we were going to kill the geese. The only thing we have looked at since the meeting in December is non-lethal solutions to the geese situation. That is the only thing we have looked at. There have been no motions in front of this board. There's been no actions taken. And I am told the reason we don't see the geese right now is they are nesting because they're going to bring us even more little geese very soon. So, I mean, it's just one of those issues that just keeps on giving constantly. But again, we have not voted. There is no motion, and the only work that the staff is doing is on solutions to this. So that is the end of my remarks. Why someone put this on Facebook so many months from December, I don't know, but they did.
But I do have to compliment the person who did call me because she wanted the facts. Wasn't going to take what was said on Facebook as gospel.
Yes.
Even though it was during my Easter day.
Easter Sunday, yes. We all got that call Easter Sunday.
Yep. Okay. General Manager's report.
was going to be short and sweet for you today. Wanted to update you on a couple projects going on. First, information technology. This is one that has delayed just a little bit the last couple of months. We've had some other priority projects and contracts, just things we're working through. But our intent, if you recall, this year's budget, the 13-14 budget currently in, we held off on buying the dump truck and plow that went with it with the intent to apply those funds for information technology. In the 14-15 budget, we had budgeted almost matching funds, another $100,000 for the information technology project. So that combination is what's going to upgrade our infrastructure when it comes to the computers, the backbone. So I just want to make sure everyone was aware of it. Speaking to our accountant, there's no problem carrying over year over year for those funds because, in fact, we didn't spend it on capital project or capital item. We're going to reallocate it to the information technology side of the house. We've been talking about it for a couple of months. I'm just putting a reminder back up there because that will start to accelerate demand. Okay. Next project, which has been something that a lot of folks have been asking about. As you know, we submitted for the White Horse Boat Ramp replacement. We did receive approval from Army Corps of Engineers, also from Maryland Department of Environment approved it. We're now submitting through the county. So the next steps are we get county approval, then we'll develop an RFP to put out for bid, award the project, and it'll be a fall project that will actually replace that White Horse boat. Okay? So it was good that we had received those two approvals. That's what we've been waiting on. The roads, same type of thing. The roads have internally been reviewed. We actually reviewed, some of our public works team reviewed all of our road system, identified the roads in worst condition. From there, we create a report. That report then goes to the engineer, in this case, Steve Soule. Steve goes out and validates it. There's been a little bit of a delay there. Steve was out for a few weeks for some surgery. He's back now. He'll go back and identify based on the condition of the roads that we've identified as the worst condition. He'll go in, he'll rate them and see what needs to be accomplished for those roads. He'll help us develop an RFP to put out. We'll put the RFP out to the contractors, do the paving, award it, and again, that will be a fall project. Okay? Public Works, number of things we're working on. The Mumford's pool repair, the Beach Club pool, those are underway. The Fisher Marines, 95% complete with all of the bulkhead work. Our guys did the backfill on the side. That's just about all wrapped up now. That should be wrapping up shortly. Part of the delay there was it's been so wet, so it's hard when you're doing that backfill, laying the side without ruts and doing more damage. You have to wait till it dries out. But that's pretty close now. The handicap ramp, swimmer racket, that's been submitted for approval. Beach Club, we've refinished the first floor bar. When I say refinished, a couple of public works guys, we have a copper bar downstairs that has tarnished over the years, and it was all marked up, so we buffed it all out, cleaned it up, and then we're going to put acrylic type lacquer on so it doesn't continue. The patina's nice, but it gets dirty, it gets slick and stuff, so we're just addressing that now before the season opens up. We're also, that second floor where we put the heating and air in, what we're doing is that bar is in a wooden bar, hasn't been used in years. It was in poor condition, so we're sanding that and refinishing that as well. So they're underway now, and they'll be wrapped up before we own. Yacht Club chairs, we pulled all the chairs out. They're down at Public Works. They're getting touched up paint on them. The black were the banquet chairs. They're getting touched up for the new club. New seat cushions are being put together now, so that's getting finished up. The marquees on the parkway, I don't know if anybody's noticed, they've now been lit up, so they're finished. The mowing has started, for those who haven't seen the folks out there. The grass is certainly growing with the wet weather we've had, so that's underway. The team's been out the last few days now. They start to dry out for us. We have had a lot of graffiti throughout the neighborhoods. I've talked to several of you about it. I think it's kids out there doing it. Those things will happen. Police is certainly following up, trying to figure out a pattern or what types of things. We believe we have an idea of where it is right now, and we should see it start to diminish, but it is something they're working on. Most of the stone dust has been put down. That's on all our trails this time of year. We replenish it's the gray stone dust around the Veterans Memorial, White Horse Park. All our trails have put that. That's pretty much complete now. Setting up the marina dock. We'll be running the Cat 5 lines from the new marina building down to the dock. We've got lines there, phone lines now. We're running an update line because we're going to put one of our micro systems out there for the sale to track the sales and the whole 9 yards. It's part of the bigger project. But as we're getting our dock open this year, that's one of the things that we're having done.
Well, I have no idea what a cat line
Yeah,
is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It basically, we're running wiring from the building down to the dock. It's a cabling, and it just allows us to transfer information. We've had phone lines and power out there. This is an actual line to transfer data via the computer, the micro
Thank
system. Sorry about that. Next thing, we have a truck that we replaced, one of our box vans. One of the things we want to do with it, if you recall, for years we've used the old van. It was one of the oldest in our fleet to transport food from the yacht club to either the country club or the beach club in Ocean City when we're doing catered events. We have one of our box vans that we've replaced, but the mileage is relatively low, and it's one of the big square ones that you can actually stand up in. So we've stripped out the inside, and we're going to line it, put some insulation in it, and put right on top of it, there's a unit you can actually buy that owns that. It's made for that style of vehicle, so we can have a better condition to transport the food from the yacht club to the other facilities for catering. So we're actually pretty excited about that. We're looking at about $1,200 total cost to convert it. And that doesn't include one of the things we're looking at now is a potential wrap on it, so we can, as you're driving down the road, Coastal Highway, Route 90, you can say Clubs of Ocean Pines. If you remember a couple months ago, I gave you the catering booklets. They have some really neat pictures in there, and we're trying to see what the price would be to wrap that so you could advertise while it's going down the highway.
Think about putting it to the public when the water down there.
That's a good point.
Good idea.
But none of this is in the budget.
What's that?
Is any of
The
this in the budget?
$1,000 for the van? It is not. Okay. We've opened the yard. Public Works will be open on Saturdays all through May, so folks can bring debris. Eddie and I were talking about doing that as we roll into the season with all the storms we've had. A lot of debris down. We've tried real hard to help people out with that. One of the things we decided to do is go ahead and leave the yard open. We did last spring. It worked out real well, so we're going to do it month May. Trees, 8-3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monday,
Oh, there you go. Monday through Friday, you drop it off as well.
Teresa, will this be on the website, or how do people know about that?
Yeah, they're trying to find out like bag. You have to dump. I don't know, paper or just kind of letting people know. You really have to dump them out if you bring them back.
Try and get the final piece
And they
together.
take it to, where's the location exactly?
Public Works Yard.
Public Works Yard. Okay.
All right, some things happening, recreation and parks along with aquatics, some things I want to put out, extremely successful. We've had Easter. If you wasn't out here for the Easter event, it was mobbed out here. I mean, there were cars up and down the street, just hundreds and hundreds of kids out here playing. It was really, the weather helped us a whole lot. There were a lot of people out there. It was a really, really neat event. They also did the Easter egg, and we had some pictures. Easter egg dive where they threw the eggs in the pool and the kids were diving for Easter eggs. So it was an overall just good weekend for that. In addition to that, this weekend they have the home show coming up. Okay, it's been advertised. It's in the papers. We have. As you know, the aquatics director recently changed. Colby's fully on board now. We're real excited. She's jumped in with both feet. She's obviously very familiar with Ocean Pines. She's been our top instructor for years. Tom did a real good job with the transition as he was moving out. He stayed an extra week and worked with her to see if, to help her through the transition in and help them transition out. She's certified and just about everything. She just recently upgraded her CPO, so she's good there. So real excited about that. A lot of positive feedback. Our Facebook page for aquatics, I think we're up 2,000% or something. I mean, she's very good at that, so a lot of back and forth on the Facebook with classes. A new Zumba class is going to be offered. A water Zumba class is going to be offered. So pretty excited about that.
Interesting. I didn't do that. Okay.
Yeah, so kind of a fresh and new and kind of an
Makes that
exciting
water
thing.
out.
Yeah, we're excited about it. Something we're hosting, we're Maryland Coastal Bays Workshop. They'd like to come in and they're going to ask for some information. Teresa, you want to talk about this one at all?
I copied and pasted what they said. It's 3 hours. You can come during different workshops about different interests that people want to do. Like water sports on the bay, that would be one kind of area, and you kind of answer the survey. Then you go to another, and it's, just a way for them to get information to write their 10-year plan about what they're going to do next to get their water. And actually, we'll have the Turn Grill bar open. We'll have some refreshments. We'll kind of make it also social. Hang around, talk about.
All right. Yacht Club, give you some quick updates on the club. A lot going on down there. We just had the OC Job Fair this past weekend. Had a lot of good input from that. Our new chef has now relocated to Ocean Pines, so he's here full time now, which is good. They have regular staff meetings ongoing as we're ramping up for the opening and the season. Other things, finalizing the uniforms. The entertainment is pretty much booked for the season. So we're well ahead of that. It's been interesting because we're actually getting more and more calls of folks that want to come and play and be part of the new facility. The plan is to have the Yacht Club open for regular business for the Memorial Day weekend. What we decided to do is do the actual formal ribbon cutting on the 8th of June. Part of our reasoning behind it, we're going to be busy Memorial Day weekend. It'll be our first full weekend open at full tilt. It allows us to work some things out. And quite frankly, we're all extremely busy that weekend anyway, family in town, guests from in and out of town. By moving it to the next weekend, June 8th, it allows a lot of our membership, who obviously paid for the facility, where they're probably not as hectic with family in and those type of things, to be able to come out and enjoy themselves a little bit for the grand opening. So we're putting those things together. Not unlike something we did for the 45th anniversary, where we actually took it over multiple weekends in August, and that seemed to work out real well instead of trying to cram everything into 1 or 2 days. The marina opens May 1st. Excited about that. We still have some construction going on, obviously, but everything's getting pretty much tightened up over there. The first week or two, we'll still present some parking challenges for those marina users. After that, we should be okay. Everything's getting, if you haven't been down there the last few days, a lot of work. Clean up everything in the parking lot, because most of the materials are in or on the building now. That front alcove, I'm going to show you some pictures. That's all being done. So everything's kind of at full, everyone, all hands on deck right now.
Did you say where they're going to park? I have absolutely zero clue. By the yacht club pool, maybe? I mean, where can people park who are using?
Initially, parking's going to be a little tough the first week or two,
Okay.
is what I said. So they're going to probably be over more near the Mumford's
Pool. Okay, and that's open. They can park there. Okay.
Yes, but by the second week, we should be okay. We're working now with potential paving for the parking lot in front of the yacht club. All those things are in the works as we're talking. So as that gets a little tighter and that schedule is evolving each day, as that continues, we'll know, because that marina parking will be reopened this year. You recall last year we had to close it with the demo, and that was pretty inconvenient for those that rented slips. It will be reopened, just maybe by the second week
So
of
we're
May.
open for gas starting May 1st, and we're open for people with their boats at the start. And do we have signs for our guest slips?
No, we're
That's worked on.
in May, all that'll get tightened
Good.
up. Yeah.
Great, thank
It's
you.
just the challenge is we still have a lot of construction going on. All those things are happening. It's just trying to piece it all together.
That's fine.
Yeah, by the end of May, we're going to be in pretty good shape there. With the signage, and here are the spots we dedicate for transient, boats that want to pull up and use the club. All those things are in play this year, which will be fun. First floor, fun and exciting, I should say. First floor, as you all know, we've been through a lot of questions, and we had a naming contest and the whole 9 yards. A lot of names that came in had the Cove with them. A name before it, the Cove, or Cove and then something else. We were looking at ways to expand the use of the yacht club. When I say expand, people need to know its own pub. Okay, I still get questions. I still get people that are wondering, think it's a private club. So what we're going to try to do with the opening is rebrand it with a separate name for everything on the first floor. We'll still have the yacht club. That's where the dining, that's where the banquets and events and those Sunday brunch will be held at the yacht club, which will be primarily focused on the second floor. First floor area we're going to call the Cove. Those who submitted that name, and that was ultimately, if you remember, that was the primary name. It was Mariners Cove that was selected. They still got their bottle of wine. We're going to do some special things, but we're going to expand that group just a little bit because there were about 8 of them that actually included that name. So we're going to do something special for them once we get home. So we're excited about that. Club's advisory committee loved the idea. We kicked it around for quite a while. Seemed it was very well received, and we think it's a way so we'll be able to identify it as the Cove at Ocean Pines, so it feels more open as opposed to closed to the public. Okay. All right, and again, we're kicking some ideas, we're kicking some logos, we're really full on trying to come up with some things. This isn't finalized. What's it? A smile on the face. He is smiling. He's in the air. It's a half a smile. All right, some pictures, some things going on right now for those who haven't been out there. I need to put this one first because I have a lot of people calling me and asking me, is the cover supposed to be angled? Yes, it's supposed to be in an angle. It's intended to flow with the layout of the parking lot. If you remember, the buildings actually tilted a little bit. So the portico there actually lines up with the parking lot. Architectural design, but it also matches the parking. So yes, it's supposed to be that. No, it will not stay that rust color. That's the primer. It's going to be painted white, tin roof, leave the blue tin roof like the other parts are.
I think it should be gray. I don't think you have enough gray in this building.
You don't think so?
No.
All right, I'll take that under consideration.
We need a little bit more gray in this.
We'll see what we can do.
Is that a motion, Jerry?
Yeah. Do I have a second?
No. Here's. I thought we'd show some quick shots of pavers. Are just about all complete. Pretty exciting when you look at space out there's beautiful. We really have something neat out there now. For many years, we struggled with building that was just continuing to deteriorate just with age and condition. We don't have those issues anymore. So this should really be a neat place for folks to enjoy. What you see here is the actual tiki bar with the foundation of it. That'll start to be constructed next week. You'll start to see the roof on that and everything. So it's going to be really exciting once those things start to take off. There's another shot. This is from the second floor when you're looking out. Remember, we angled the building. That's standing right there on that second floor. It looks straight at the chute to Ocean City. So it's really positioned well. Real excited about that. Another shot of the building. This is from the pool side. I'll give you some inside shots. Second floor bar. Okay, the bar tops actually start going tomorrow. So we're excited. That's pretty near the finishing. Second floor, that's the main hall. You see all the lighting's in. The indirect lighting up in here really looks neat at night. All the wood floors have been finished. The majority of this is complete. What you see here are just the final vents that actually snapped in place, and that'll happen next. There it is from the opposite angle. What you see here is just cardboard that's all the way around. So the contractors that are moving around up there aren't walking across our floor all the time. So, but you can get a pretty good idea of what the lighting and what it looks like. Move inside. There's one of our main kitchens. They're actually doing the final hookups there. Big difference from where we were before. The team's going to have a lot more functional area to work out of, which should be helpful for everybody, not just the guests receiving the food, but the team working inside. The conditions are going to be much, much better for working environment. Questions for me? Marty?
I'm going to go back under the project. First the splash pad. I didn't hear anything said about
It's going underway now. I mean, we're working with we've got the permits. Question came up on these, whether we needed a pool permit or a new construction permit or a redesign permit. Redesign is what we end up needing. That's all.
But it's moving
submitted.
on. The other question, you said something about you'd made application for the handicap ramp.
That's for the swimmer active. We had to.
Done.
What's that?
Done.
The ramp may be.
Yeah, I just, application, they were building it a week ago.
Okay.
When you mentioned the Maryland Coastal Bays, I think we need to give a congratulations to the Environmental and Natural Assets Advisory Committee. Was working with them in the Berlin Middle School. They planted 44 trees and 34 hedges over there a week ago, and it looks very nice. And last, I don't see any numbers.
You got your month. I don't do them every month.
I
They
know,
were good
well,
this month.
They do and they don't. I mean, golf is not going to make the projected forecast, and swimming probably won't either. Do you have any balance going on in there? Is going to help that?
The golf numbers for April are looking very strong. But again, we don't know until they're finished. March, we lost 15 of the 30 days due to
Oh,
weather.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not blaming anybody.
Oh, no.
I'm
I
just
thought that
saying
was your question.
No, I'm wondering if we're going to readjust our forecast. Because we're already way over. We're 74,000 over the forecast.
I'm not adjusting a forecast. The year ends at the end of the month,
Okay.
and we're going to be somewhere
I just
around.
felt like surprises.
Well, we're going to be 120 plus ahead of budget all in. Like
Okay.
everything added up, we'll be ahead of budget. I mean, unless
That was my
something
question.
catastrophic. Yeah, oh yeah, the bottom line, not just golf, but everything added together to include capital and everything. It looks like 120 plus is what the number looks like.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, just a couple purchase requests. One of them was in your packet. It was the general maintenance building. It is a budgeted item. Everybody see it?
I know we had it, but where did it go?
It was in your board pack.
There we go.
Okay. And it's, you want Mike? You can have my copy, sure.
Thank you. I know I have it.
It's basically the bid or the budget was for 50,000. 3 bids. The first bid, and it was $262 over budget. The other two were $3,790 and $10,000 over budget amount. So obviously, we're recommending to go with Hull Lumber sales. Just need board approval for that. Budget item.
Your staff is comfortable with that bid?
It's a pole shed building. You know, it's just cover the equipment.
All right, then I will make a motion that we approve Tull Lumber sales for the expanding the existing shed.
Discussion.
Discussion.
Can you help me? I can't find it. But is it next year's budget? This year?
This one is in next year's budget.
Right. Next.
Not going to do it till next year, right?
Right, we'll get our order in.
Okay.
Other questions?
Where's the second?
No. Just seeing if there's anything.
Are you done?
No.
All right, call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
All right, second item,
Okay.
what's that? You can have it, I have another in my pack. Yes, ma'am. The other item, this is out of this year's budget, where we have furniture we're ordering. Yacht Club. I hand this out because we were actually, we've had bids coming in from a number of different sources, and we were tweaking them. We actually went out and did one more modification because of just with all the construction, we wanted to make sure, the old saying, measure twice, cut once. We were out early this morning measuring one more time to make sure we had the right amount of furniture based on the spacing. And that includes the size of the umbrellas, the tables, the size of each chair, how they fit on the deck, the whole 9 yards. Just we had a pretty good idea of the budget where we wanted to be. With this much money for furniture, I just wanted to make sure we measured one more time, and we did. We spent a couple hours this morning. So the final estimate is we're recommending is Admiral Furniture. We've used them for a number of years for our pool furniture. They've been good. We've been pleased with furniture. We did check some other companies, obviously, when you're looking at that money, so everything's in here. Trying to compare apples to apples, you really have to start to look real close at the straps versus fabrics versus those type of things. So we kind of took our time and made sure we had all the numbers in here. So we'd like to move forward with the order so we can have it in time for the yacht club.
I was just going to ask how soon they deliver. Is this something that
4 weeks.
4 weeks?
So we're right at the window. I would like to have done this last month, Sharon, but quite frankly, with tiki bar, with fencing, with all, just, I was a little worried to pull the trigger and have either too much or not enough. We think our numbers are pretty good for the size and based on the layout.
And these are the strap ones, not these canvas type.
They're the strap.
They're
the strap. But what we're doing at the club a little differently, the straps before are all horizontal. Okay, that's what all our furniture is. We're doing the cross pattern this year with our new order, which means they're this way and that way. And you'll see a picture. And what it does is it strengthens them more. They don't sag as much.
Good.
So we're.
Have you had a charity that sags?
Yeah, It really was minimal difference to do it, but it made a difference. I'm trying to see if there's a picture of the cross. You'll see the pictures in here of all the what we normally order when we did the comparison. It may not be in here, but it's the cross. It goes both. The straps run both ways. Again, they hold up more. They disperse the weight of people more evenly, so we don't have the sagging. Not as much sagging, I should say. Can't promise for everybody there won't be some.
Did he look at me when he said,
No, sir. I did not look at anybody.
He was very careful.
I was. I looked at my paper.
Very careful.
Any questions? Any motion?
I'll make a motion to select Admiral Furniture and their bid. Yeah.
for a second? Discussion? Just to make sure I'm clear, Bob, you basically went out and walked it off again this morning to make sure we were getting exactly
I
what
did with our new aquatics director, and we actually measured each piece of, we know how much each piece of the equipment fit. Now, I'm not going to say it's perfect. Once it's out there, we may decide we need more next season, but for this season, we're very comfortable with it.
Bob, I just want to double check on the difference from budget. We had 73,000 in the budget originally.
75.5 the budget. We're almost $1,200 under budget.
Under budget, gotcha. Okay.
So I could ask for an extra one, but I didn't really need the extra piece right now. Or extra cup, Chase.
Any other questions? All the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
Parks and Recreation Committee report.
Everybody got the packet. Trey Stank is our secretary, and so we gave you our minutes from our last meeting. Pretty much every meeting we kind of do a recap of what everybody's doing. The committee actually has taken the parks of Ocean Pines and they divided them up amongst themselves. They are kind of like, eyes for the park. They kind of check them out, make sure things are not broken or safety concerns, or they're good stewards of parks of Ocean Pines. They pretty much do that every meeting. Couple of things that they're doing in addition to that. One of the things we have Roy, who's been our chairperson. This is his last year, so finding a chair. I think he put that number 1 on the list for a reason. To do that. Sonia Downs, who is the Recreation Parks Director, is always there, which is very helpful. Hopefully help her too. That we get information from her and we can share information we want to with her as well, and she communicates follow-up and Public Works. One of the things that's been going on is Trey Stink is a bicycle enthusiast, and he has been working at Bainbridge Park to fix up the trail so that kids can bike around Bainbridge. He has completed that project. There will be a little article I said. He has done a phenomenal amount of work. He's gotten all volunteers, mostly kids. He rounds up a bunch of kids and makes them go out and do hard labor on weekends, which is really good for them. But they also take ownership now of that park. He's just an incredible person. He'll do all of what he finds by the time he's 65. He loves it. Plus, he also works in Salisbury with their bike trails and in Lynn. He's just an incredibly talented, very giving person at this time. So he's finished up at Bainbridge Park, which is great. We talked a lot about the lights for the Manglin Creek Field, which are in next year's budget. We have somebody on our committee, Skip Schlesinger, who is pretty good at the advertising and gaining support for Park and Recs. And we have been talking a lot about in the last year about getting sponsorships. People hanging their signs at the ball field or in the gym or whatever. Skip is working on a plan to do that and has done a lot of work and worked closely with Sonia. So that's a really good thing to get sponsorships. We actually have people very interested in sponsoring ball fields. That local business. And lastly, I gave you all, in case you hadn't seen it last year, report from Brian Lewis, who comes in and looks at the parks and checks them for safety requirements. The equipment is up to snuff, needs some work, or does a good comprehensive report. So I just wanted everybody on the board to have that. I know budgeted next year is placement of the mulch, and so I wanted everybody to be aware of what his report says. Great group of people, and they work very hard. Very much appreciated.
Terry, thank you for that report. May I ask one comment? The last one is Sonia recommends the Challenger League. That sounded very interesting for Special Olympics.
Yeah, they're actually just now looking into that. They actually do something with on a much smaller scale now, and they're looking into expanding.
I would really like to see something. This sounds like a really good program.
It's time and people intensive.
Yeah.
So that's
okay. Good. Excellent.
Also a comment in here about the suitability of our softball field to the age. Never realized our softball field was too small. Possible.
Yeah, it's amazing the things that you find out. The size of the field will tell you who can play on that field. Obviously, you can't have an 18-year-old hit the ball that's going to end up at my house. So depending upon the size of the field is how Sonia determines what's age appropriate.
Well, now understand, you can play with mature folks on the field. You use different equipment.
Right.
Okay, that's what. Okay.
Yeah, so you could play.
You couldn't. I'm not gonna say what I don't know. You have to look at the size of the field and make sure it's appropriate for whatever level of play you're playing. that makes any sense.
It does. I just didn't realize that was part of what we wrote. Any other questions, Terry?
Good job.
Thank you
Excellent
again.
report. Thank you, Chair.
Send the message back to the getting the mulch put in and all that stuff. Thank you very much for that help.
We're always looking for new members.
Okay. Next on the agenda, public comment.
Nobody
Mike's down to your right. I think he turned it on.
Yeah, it sounds like it. You're good.
Nobody wants to be first, though. Randy Rowland. I'd rather try to just read this. It makes a little more sense, I think. In 2010, there were 3 ways to enter an Ocean Pines pool. Membership, bought it at the office, $300 or whatever. Cash at the door. Or a coupon book. When you entered the pool with a coupon book, the attendant would take the coupon book from you, tear a coupon out, give the book back, in you go. In 2013, the coupon book had been replaced by this little card. With the card, you went to the office, bought as many entries as you liked, they loaded them on the card, and off you go. You get in the pool. In July of 2013, a problem with this card system was brought to the attention of the Aquatics Committee. The problem was when the card was being swiped at the pool computer, it was not being deducted from the person's account or the card. This means the patrons were getting in for free. The glitch in the computer system was because of the microwave system which is being used. Microwave systems require line of sight to communicate. One of the problems is that Sports Corps, that its microwave system goes over to Public Works, as I understand it, and then from Public Works to the office. Well, there's a tree or was a tree in the way, and sometimes it communicated and sometimes it didn't. There was also a problem at Mumford's, from what was brought to attention. And then when the pool opened at the yacht club, they didn't even use the system at all because of the problem. Where does that take? It was suggested to the committee that the system upgrade to Wi-Fi or some other more reliable system. Tom Terry, and I'm not blaming anybody, I'm just, this is what happened. Was the liaison to the committee at the time, and through a neighbor, he was going to verify that this problem did exist. Within a day or so, or a few days, Mr. Terry advised me and the committee of a temporary solution. That solution was for the pool attendant to write the card number down on a piece of paper. At the end of the day, send the paper to the office. At that point, someone in the office would manually key in the card number and subtract the number of entries that that person that day. By the middle of August, this system was hit and miss at best. About 5 weeks ago, maybe a little bit more, I spoke with a friend that has a card and has been using it during the winter and was using it last summer. Originally, the friend had purchased 10 pool coupon entries. Although having been to the pool at least 5 times, there are still 10 entries on that card. I spoke to a member of the Aquatics Committee. I wrote down here 10 days ago, it might have been 14 or 15 or maybe more. And that person said that he knew, and there would have been no report at any Aquatics Committee meeting, of an upgrade to the microwave system. To anything more reliable, Wi-Fi or whatever else is out there. I'm not an IT person, so I don't know. As all of you are aware, the Aquatics Department has been losing money in the red since the Sports Corps pool was covered. I do not know, and I don't think anyone knows, how much is being lost because of the outdated microwave system. Be it $5, $500, or $5,000. This outdated microwave system can be replaced and corrective action so the losses are zero. My question to you is there any one of you interested enough to correct this problem and stop the losses before Memorial Day or as soon thereafter as possible. My apologies for not being able to be here sooner, to give more time to try to correct these problems, but that's the best I can do. What I'm also asking is a possibility to put microwave Wi-Fi at all the pools anyway. It was at the yacht club inside, expanded to outside, and put it at Mumford's Swimming Right and the beach club. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Appreciate that. We will follow up and find out what happened with the system. Anybody else?
How are we going to follow up? What's the plan of action?
I'm going to talk to you.
You're going to talk to the GM. What plan of action do you have in mind?
Don't know. To find out why.
Well, I mean, if there was a coupon system already in place and it worked, I mean, why are we messing around with electronic cards if we can get it figured out? I mean, it seems simple to me.
Let's find out what the interim solution was, to collect names and bill later. Whether that removed the trips from the card or not, apparently it hasn't. It was my understanding that people who used the pool that signed up, they couldn't swipe their card, were going to get a separate bill afterwards. That was my understanding what was going to happen. They got to find out what happened. We also need to look at the network, because Wi-Fi only works if you have the capacity of internet capacity to go to the site.
That's right.
So, again, the interim approach was possibly not successful. I need to find out.
Are we selling these cards today?
I'm sure we are. I would assume. The future is not to go backwards to a coupon book unless you actually have
Tom,
to.
it's an interim. It's an
You
interim.
ain't backwards
I
in
understand.
words.
I'm not talking about going backwards. We're talking about an interim till we figure out what we can do. It's not going backwards. It's stopgap.
Well, I thought we had a stopgap, but I need to find out what
Okay.
happened to it.
Don't be afraid to do something successful. That's
Oh, I won't. Trust me. Check the last 4 years. You'll find that out. Anybody else got anything to say? Okay. Old business.
It's a cricket. It won't hurt you. They're good luck.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
call the. He's mighty. Excuse me. Call the coastal base.
Excuse me. Sharon, that is not a geese. That is a bird. Poor thing.
No, don't.
Oh,
No.
I just named it.
Cricket crusher.
It's a live release.
where are the cameras?
My hero.
They're with the geese. Yeah, they sleep.
Actually, he's just ate a card.
Okay, old business. I'm not sure where you are with this one, but you're up.
You know, the last time we voted on this last meeting, it was a 3-3 tie. If everybody stays the same, we might get it over the hump this time. And I'm doing this really on the behalf of the Community Advisory, the Communication Advisory Committee. They're the ones who want this to happen. So I'm moving that the Board of Directors approve the following term extensions. Following members of our advisory committee: Don Claggett to 7/23/14, Don LaFawn 9/23/14, Margaret Long to 11/23/14.
Is there a second? Discussion.
You know, the documents that we work under, C1, which is a resolution for committee assignments. Number 4, notwithstanding the term limits provided above, the board reserves the right through a majority vote, our board, request a committee member continue to serve on a committee for a specified period of time. I think this meets it. Now, everybody got my email of 24th. I'm falling on the sword. This was my fault. We got, was it five of 8 members disappeared within a month of each other. Chairman, gone. New chairman hasn't even been on the committee here. We give her the keys to the bus with no gas and no tires. Literally her first person she brought on was Brady, right? Elaine Brady. There was one other sitting member who was good to go, and Bernie Flex, right? So, and then we have one other member who expires in May, and he's not renewing. Now, we've got somebody coming on today. They're working very, very hard to get back up to speed.
Let me clarify. Is there 1 or 2 today for the Communications Committee?
One.
The second one will be next.
So we do have a second application.
Yes, we do.
But it's for next month.
Why is it for next month?
Because he doesn't live here yet.
He doesn't have to live here unless he's a member of OPA.
Well, he doesn't. He can't serve on the committee when he lives in Annapolis. And when I tackled him and made him sign the thing, he told me he wouldn't do it until next.
Okay, for the purposes of discussion, we have 1 today.
And
we
one
have
coming,
one
yes.
coming.
So we have currently.
Which will bring us to half of where we were
So
when
it leaves us with 5 when we lose the person.
leaves us with
Leaves us with 5.
4.
5.
4. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Bernie?
5 when this guy's approved.
Correct,
But
that's
then
fine.
you lose.
Let's make sure we're on the same page. Bernie, Susan, and Elaine stay. We're adding 2. That's fine.
That's fine. Okay. You got it.
Okay. As long as we all know.
You know, somebody said at that meeting, I watched it on, setting precedent. We're setting a precedent if we say, well, we didn't do it the last time, so we can't do it this time. That's setting a precedent. The rules allow us to look at each one of these individually, and I would just like us to go ahead and move these people along. They want to volunteer?
Yes.
Sure.
Sure.
Thanks, Marty.
You know what I call it.
Be my guest. Time's up.
Since I was one of the nay voters, and my reasoning was because the precedent had been set last fall, whenever it was, when the environmental committee was trying to get Dave Blazer appointment extended, and wow, we were voted down twice as well. I think that we should follow what it says in this bylaw. I voted against it the last time because I had a whole committee of people that I couldn't make this happen for, and I did think it was fair that they couldn't have it, even though it states in those in our regulations that we can do it. But I want to turn that corner, so I think that let the environmental committee know that even though they were not successful, that if the board can just turn that corner and follow those rules and regulations and extend it if it's for a good reason. In this instance, it is a good reason. In the environmental committee's instance, it was a good reason. Unfortunately, we just got voted down. So I'd like to see us turn it the other way and do what's right for the committees.
Marty, what's the maximum number of the committee? 9? So if there's 5, you will have 5 after next month. Maybe 6, 7, 8. So you still have 1 seat open. So if somebody else steps up, you'll have room for.
They are shaking the tree, Sharon.
Okay.
You're shaking the tree. Thank
Yeah.
you for bringing the one.
Well, I'm just want to be sure I've got the right count. Okay.
I'm sorry, just one thing. And I would hope that if this does turn out to be have a positive effect today, that the next time this happens, where there is an extenuating circumstance that somebody from the committee is requesting an extension, he looked at, just like we have been, we made sure there were enough people on the committee and whatever, that the same consideration is given to all of the committees.
I wasn't here.
I know.
Okay, just so that everything is level set here. There is, just as in the case of the environmental, there was nothing that would have stopped that member of that committee to attend those meetings as a resident and member of OPA and to be an associate member of that committee. There's absolutely nothing stopping him back then to attend the meeting and to participate during the year in which he was not officially on the committee, just as there is nothing stopping these folks, although they are in a bit of an embarrassing moment at this point, second time coming up with this. There's nothing that stops them from attending the meetings and participating and helping. They can participate. It's not like if you're not on the committee, you can't be there. It's not how it works.
Well, I mean, you're saying you can come sit on the bench.
So I just want to make sure we're all clear here.
And as the liaison with the Environmental Natural Asset Advisory Committee, I want to tell you, I don't ever remember me who was going to attend, even though he wasn't extended.
He was a very effective chair.
Might have been. He should have maybe been extended.
Yeah.
I can tell you this: the Environmental and Natural Assets Advisory Committee is still not happy about that. I wasn't involved.
I know they're not.
I'm only involved in this one. This one, these people deserve to not be told to sit on the bench.
Is there any other discussion of this? Call the question. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? 7-7.
Thank
Jack, did you vote?
Jack,
Yeah,
did you go?
yeah, I did, in spirit, yeah.
Do you want to clarify for our
Yeah, I
secretary?
did, in spirit, yeah.
Could you clarify what
In
your
spirit,
vote was?
it was an affirmative.
It was
Thank you.
affirmative.
Thank you.
I looked over, his little finger was up.
Thompson.
Okay, new business, closed meeting report. Terry Miller.
I think I'm just making the public aware of this. Is that what I'm doing? Jeff and Michelle have come up with this great form for when we go into closed session, and it records our vote, and everybody's seen it. The session means it becomes part of the record, signed off by who makes the motions to go into the session. It's a good, very good tool for us.
Have we seen them?
Yeah, that's the one that we've been using. You probably haven't seen it.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it was handed out.
Yeah, it was handed out at the very first time they did it.
Madam Secretary,
What?
is there any reason we can't get a form like that for every motion? Certainly make it easy.
I think we can.
I think.
Yeah.
You, they're a buck a piece.
That's fine.
For you,
As many
they're about
motions as
50.
I make, I probably
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
It would be great to pass it out or get it out to us.
Yeah, we're ahead. We'll be happy to have that.
Fabulous.
Great.
Fabulous.
It's just a way for us to make that part of complies with the.
Done the thing. What is the report?
It actually
Tells you nothing.
it tells you
Just,
when the meeting was. What
oh, you
time
were going
it
to give the
was.
report. Why don't you give the issue? In this one, what was the issue?
She said a report of the form.
On this form, it tells you it says Ocean Wide Association Incorporated closed session. It gives you the date, the time, where the meeting was, and it'll say the board voted to hold a closed meeting, hold a meeting in closed session for the purpose of, and then we just fill in whatever it is. It's who makes this motion.
What was the issue? In this
Discussion of matters pertaining to employees and personnel.
What does that mean?
Exactly
I
what
mean,
that
were
means.
we reprimanding? I don't even know what we're talking about.
Well,
What were we talking about?
that's not
Was
a
that
matter
the-
of public record. This is a matter tells who made the motion, who seconded the motion, what the yes, no votes were for the motion, and then down the bottom of it, it actually states the homeowners association regulation.
Is that a public report, you say?
This is, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you handing those out today then?
No, these are actually Michelle's copies. Or no, Michelle has her copy. These are just extra. These are my copies.
You cut through all the mystery. What we're talking about, obviously, has been reported in the papers already. We were talking about the town manager's contract, gas. Those were what the topics.
And Tom, that's where I'm coming from. Why don't we
I
say
just,
so?
I just did.
Yeah, I know.
Did I just?
But I mean, you know, it wasn't a discussion of personnel issue. It was a discussion.
Yes, it is.
Read
Beg pardon?
the second sentence, that second sentence in where it says specifically, and then it lists the actual. The first part is wording of the statute.
Is it the second section?
Yeah, it's right after.
Protection of privacy.
Yes, and but the reality is, it was brought to our attention that we needed to formalize the process around which, whenever we have a closed session, that it's reported back to the community. And that's what we've done, and that's what this does. And that's what we're, and moving on to CPI. My favorite address of all time.
Which one?
All right, there's
52
there.
Oh, let's start with the other one, because that's Pete Gomsack's favorite address of all time.
In other words, I don't even know what this right.
All right,
It's
here's
unanimous.
CPI, which one do we start?
I don't think
52 or-
This is just.
Excuse me. Point of order here, folks.
Okay, but okay. All right.
Sorry.
You name
Sorry,
it.
folks. We'll get it straightened out. We're working on it.
Which one are we looking at?
Okay, we have
first?
two CPI actions that need consideration from the board. Let's look at, the first one is 8 Willow Way, please.
Yes.
What's the problem here? Oh.
Okay, again, 8 Willow Way. There's two CPI actions. I'm going to start with 8 Willow Way. All right, the violation falls under the junk vehicle. You see the number of inspections, contacts that have gone out. You can see the condition of the vehicle. It continues just to sit there and deteriorate. We'd like to send this to our attorney to take the next step, and that would be to send a letter. Marty would find it in continuing violation, and then we'll send a letter from our attorney saying they have to fix this or remove it from the property.
It was brought to my attention, Bob, I want to verify this information. It was brought to my attention that we have taken legal action similar to this in the past, and a judge ruled against us. Any action that we could take, is that incorrect or is that
I'm
correct?
not familiar with what you're speaking of.
Is anybody familiar with what I'm speaking of?
We have
Did I
been
just dream
spanked
this
for
up?
going on the property that was clearly junk, because it wasn't junk, it was personal property,
Not in recent years.
not recent. But let somebody make a motion on this one, because there is discussion. I move we find it continuing violation and send it to our attorney for a nasty letter.
Second.
Now, discussion. Really, we should have let Pete make this motion. Pete ran for the board at 08, 09. This was his poster child of the problem with our enforcement. The same car on the same driveway. 09, wasn't it? 5 years ago?
After I was elected to the board, I was contacted by the next door neighbor.
Okay, so it was 09.
So you mean to tell me that's Pete's car?
Yes. And if he'll put the tags back on it, we probably can't do anything.
That's disgusting. Move the damn thing, Pete.
The point I'm making here is, Bob, is there anything we can do to
No.
move this?
Okay, hold on. Let me answer the question.
Unfortunately, what happens, and you said it, Marty, someone puts tags on it, they get it registered, pump the air up in the tires, then it becomes, is it a junk vehicle or not? If it's movable, again, that's the game that gets played.
This one has not moved in 5 years.
I can't comment on that.
It's absolutely.
That's why we're recommending from the staff side, we recognize the violation, we'd like it sent to the attorney
take the next step. And
Instead of a strong letter, can we really ask Joe, what can we fast track?
There's an instrument around called a confess judgment. Okay, I mean, can our attorney draw up some sort of an agreement, that can become, I don't know, something that is necessary to allow us to, protect the welfare of neighbors who are
it's
being
called
abused
declaration
by
of restrictions.
unfriendly or uncooperative neighbors?
The declaration of restrictions. I don't think we can go beyond that, can we? I mean,
I've already asked that twice.
I would love to have Joe Moore's opinion. If this was parked next to your house in Berlin, what would you do?
Exactly.
I know what I would do if it was parked next to my house, and I won't comment on it because it may come to pass.
Be illegal too.
I would be happy to have.
So?
I'd be happy to have Mr. Moore attend the next meeting.
Won't
to
be the
answer
first
any-
illegal thing.
I'd be happy to ask Joe to attend the next meeting, answer any legal questions.
Just so we move it along, I don't want to slow it down.
But in the meantime, I'd like to forward with.
Yeah, you got the motion on the table.
Now, can't get a second on this one.
I second.
We're discussing,
I just have
any
one
more
other question.
discussion?
Yes, one other question. How about if they're, but they are not in arrears?
Nope. Very nice lady. It's her son's cars.
Well, all you have to do is look at the two pictures. You see the two cars. The one that's being pictured here is the parts vehicle for the next one. It's exactly what this is. And this is a weakness in our DRs in
Yes,
being
indeed.
able to handle this stuff. As Bob says, they pump up the tires, throw a sticker on it, and one person's junk is another person's antique.
5 years.
I know. I wish that, Okay.
And in 5 years, I would have to give us a big fat F.
Well, you can only go as far as the DRs, Marty.
I understand that.
Yeah. All right, all those in favor? Opposed? Okay.
Okay, second violation, and I handed out an additional document. This was from an inspection that was recently completed. You can see there's an additional violation on the same property. Okay, that's the trailer. So these folks, we've had numerous complaints and have tried to take multiple action. We'd like to go ahead and get this rectified for our attorney as well. So followed in continuing violation, as Marty will call it.
I move that we find them in continuing violation
Second.
and send to our attorney to do whatever our attorney can do. Now, I'd also like to see this fast. This has been going on for over a year.
This is another one. It's been,
And I look at this trailer and we say it's an additional violation. I mean, that's like saying that the band was out of two-deck Titanic. Who cares? This is horrible. This isn't safe. This car is jacked up on one jack in the yard.
we'll call the question on this one. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? And Bob, I would like Joe to come to the next meeting and put on our agenda a discussion of the DRs and what it is we can do and not do and what any changes we may be able to make. Because this kind of ongoing 5-year, 2-year, 52 Battersea has been, I know, on your radar and mine for almost a year with emails from these people. And they keep dodging the bullet, and I'm personally sick and tired of it.
By the way, that house
Give it the
has
opportunity.
another dangerous item. It's got a swimming backyard and you could drop a 10 million candlelight flood lamp with the see it after a second. I mean, it's a black moat. Somebody could get really, really in trouble with that.
We're going to address that, but hopefully.
Oh, and by the way, they also haven't paid their dues.
Well, that
I'm
is
shocked.
that. Surprise, surprise.
So
Okay. I have appointments to the various committees. If there's no objection, do them all together. Roy Foreman, Recreation and Parks, 3rd term. Dale Ash, term, Tennis. Jenny Cropper Rhymes, Communications, 1st term. That's one of the two back up. Bill Wentworth as the Elections Chair of that committee. Lawrence Morris for Tennis. Any objections to these appointments?
Need a motion?
Nope, just did
Nope,
it.
that's it.
Consensus.
Motion, consensus, if we're okay. Good.
All done.
Okay, thank you. And I do want to thank the folks who've been working hard to address the communications committee to get some good qualified people on there as well as these people cycle off. So Sharon, thank you for working that. And Marty as well. Yeah, that's how we solve the issue is getting people, but I think we did the right thing to do. Media questions. Go.
Is there a menu yet for the code?
There's a menu currently being developed, yes, sir.
It's not available.
Correct. There's something you wanted added to it? Is there something in particular?
I don't think people might be interested in
Oh,
knowing.
no, we're looking at some gluten-free
Marketing
options.
in public places.
Gotcha.
What's that?
Yeah. What's the address on the second property?
52 Battersea.
52 Battersea. Any other questions? I'll take a motion for adjournment.